Hello everybody, welcome to StraightA, Dawson here, with NFL Week 11 recap here today. Of course, we're almost getting 2/3 into the season. A lot of nice games this week, actually a lot of fun games this week too. Some big tragedies, especially this week, of just a lot of injuries and just unfortunate things for the rest of the season. But there are some ups and there's some downs, and we'll discuss them all here today. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching the channel and all your support thus far. Of course, it's Thanksgiving week, and with this being probably the first video you see of this week, or no, I guess you could have seen the video uploaded yesterday. Beside the point, there's going to be a slightly different schedule. I'm going to try to keep Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday pretty much as the three videos. So today, of course, being recap, tomorrow being predictions. Unfortunately, predictions will just be me, just because it's hard getting everybody together. I have to edit these videos way ahead of time so I can go home and enjoy some time with my family. Thursday, no uploads because it's Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays type deal. Friday, I'm going to try to get power rankings up. Should be fine uploading on a Friday. I know there are some games there too, I'm pretty sure, so we'll kind of just mix that in as we can. Maybe I'll upload on Saturday, but one of the other videos, I should be back and able to record some other videos. If not, you have a Saturday quiz video or something as well, and Sunday no videos, of course, and then we'll resume on next week, in which we should have NFL Imperialism finally back up, because it's pretty much all finished and ready to go. I just have to do some actual editing, and I just do not have enough time with the amount of videos I have to pre-record. So I usually do these day to day, but I have to kind of do all of this in one night. Had to do all my schoolwork for all one night, so you know what? We love a long night together. But either way, we're going to get into NFL Week 11. I'm going to try to speed through these and get it nice and ready to go. Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. First of all, prayers up for Joe Burrow and for Mark Andrews, of course, with their big injuries. Those are two very big people in the NFL, and they've inspired me. I love both those players a lot, and I hope they get better and hope they're able to return better than ever. I do want to say critique on the Bengals real quick. Man, it's the Bengals' fault. It's the Bengals organization's fault. They have one of the best QBs known to NFL history. Honest to God, give Joe Burrow the right weapons, give Joe Burrow the right schemes, give Joe Burrow the right anything. He's going to make magic happen with it. Does he have his ups and downs? Yes. But man, they are beating him into the ground. If they just started the season, taking care of their QB, they wouldn't be in the position they are now. And if they didn't just throw their QB out there during one of the best defenses in the whole league in the Ravens, they wouldn't be in the situation. Divisional matchup on the road. You can take a couple losses or possible losses and still keep your QB and stay in the conversation. But now the Bengals are not going to make the playoffs. 100% not going to make the playoffs. And that was another video we're going to do, is the playoff predictions, but we're just going to push that off a whole nother week because we're like, it's fine. The Cincinnati Bengals are a mess. And honest to God, I hope they don't succeed. I really hope they don't succeed this season, because I don't want to see them get rewarded for the horrible ways they're treating their players, and especially Joe Burrow. Simple, to the point. Either way, let's talk about him. Of course, Joe Burrow did get hurt before, but Jake Browning did fine enough. We'll see how it does actually in the long term. I'm going to guess not very well. Joe Mixon, fine on the ground. Receiving game really, again, was pretty across the board. Defense for the Bengals did step up a little bit in terms of numbers, but really didn't step up at all in terms of containing Lamar Jackson in the run game from Baltimore, which has been historically not the best thing for Baltimore. I'll kind of make this a little bit bigger for you guys to see as well. I guess I can shrink this. Look at that. We can do it all on the fly. Boom, bada bing. The Ravens, on the other hand, of course, Lamar Jackson had another just good game. Really solid, really great game. The run game with Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson, Keaton Mitchell even getting a little bit of carries, and 33 yards total. Pretty nice to see there. Receiving, Odell Beckham had a resurgence game. Love seeing Odell do well. Zay Flowers, still fine. Delson Aguilar also coming back from the grave. Mark Andrews, before he went out, did fine, of course, but obviously he went out. But defense from the Ravens did really, really well. Sacked Joe Burrow like 4 or 5 times, and unfortunately, Joe Burrow ended up getting hurt from all that. But beside the point, Ravens really are showing that they are one of the most dominant forces in the NFL. No questions asked about it, to be honest with you. Oh, why does it take me down to week 7? The hell? All right, well, we love all that. What the heck? Okay, probably kept that in. Because that was very, very strange. So went down to week 7 when I clicked back, so whatever. One of the games, another game I saw a little bit of, but it was just such a bad game. Steelers continue not to have an offense outside of the run game. Jalen Warren continues to get less snaps than Najee Harris in terms of runs, but Jalen Warren had a big run there with a touchdown. Najee Harris did fine, but Browns defense really kept him down. Nobody in the receiving game really did anything. Honestly, Pittsburgh's defense really didn't do all too much against the Browns. I mean, I guess obviously for a low-scoring game, both defenses did enough to not let them move past really midfield at all, but they really didn't do anything noteworthy in the game, I should say. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, of course, 24 for 43, 165 yards, interception. Not very good. Obviously, they're going to have a very bad offense for us the game. Even outside their run game, I mean, their run game was not very good for the most part here. So the Browns, I'm going to be very curious to see how well they actually do in the long term here, and if they actually will maintain, their record. They're 7-3, which is nice to be at this point. But man, I don't know how many more games they're really going to eke out. Meanwhile, the receiving game, Elijah Moore's getting a lot of love. David Njoku is, but other than that, not really too much. Defense for the Browns, honestly, was probably more of the stellar defense in this matchup. It really came down to a battle of defenses, and it came down to the Browns just having a better defense. They did have a nice drive at the end, which won them the game, but still, beside the point, Browns still looking fine on defense, but it's a little bit worrisome otherwise. Raiders Dolphins, also a game you're really not too surprised on. Raiders fought back a little bit more better, and I thought they would. Maybe a better team than I'm giving them credit for. Aiden O'Connell continues to turn the ball over, though, like awful. Josh Jacobs continues to be awful. Devontae Adams is doing something again. He's finally coming back into the woodworks a little bit. Raiders defense, nothing really to take from there. Meanwhile, Tua continues to put up really good numbers, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, not too bad. Raheem Mostert was held down pretty well, though, and Devon Achane did come out for 1 carry, but take that as you will. A lot of people got some love, though, outside of Tyreek Hill. Of course, Tyreek Hill had a hell of a game, but outside of that, everybody got a little bit of love, got everybody involved. Defensively, I mean, the Dolphins are just fine. I can't really complain about the Dolphins' defense. It's just doing suitable things, what they need to do. So, pretty good game, though, overall, in terms of surprise from the Raiders and the Dolphins putting up the points. So, nice to see. Then we have the Bears at the Lions, of course. Justin Fields actually didn't have a bad game. He actually looked kind of good, especially on the ground. 104 yards, absolutely amazing. Outside of that, really nothing. Roschon Johnson, freaking Weddle. Sorry, Roschon Johnson was a Weddle answer one time, and I just could not get it. DJ Moore continues to be, obviously, the number 1 target there. Defensively, the Bears really didn't do anything. Really, if their defense stepped up a little bit more, they probably would have actually beaten the Lions here, because the Lions were leading down for a while. Not a while, I should say. Like, the Bears had a really strong start against the Lions, and the Lions just picked it back up like nothing else. Dan Campbell's like, nah, you had your fun. We're going to come out here and actually do our stuff. Which, by the way, a very weird game here for Jared Goff, because 3 interceptions. I don't think he's thrown 3 interceptions in a while. If he has, in one game, I mean. I don't know if he ever has. I couldn't name you a game, but beside the point, a little bit an off game for Jared Goff. Otherwise, not too bad. But David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs continue to be thunder and lightning. Pretty good here. Pretty good stellar offense from them. Meanwhile, Amon St. Brown, of course, does Amon St. Brown things. Jamison Williams getting a touchdown. That was actually kind of cool to see that he's kind of getting more integrated in offense. Now he's blocking more for down the field carries. And defensively, I mean, honestly, it was kind of a fine game for the Lions. Just nothing notable happened. I don't want to pick on them too much, because nothing really looked good, but like nothing looked bad either, so I can't really say much. But it's against the Bears offense, so you'd hope they maybe could do something, but beside the point, divisional matchups are hard sometimes. But Lions eke out the win. Bears fall down to 3-8. Lions are 8-2, deceivingly 8-2. Man, the Eagles better watch their back, man. All I gotta say there. Then we have the Titans Jags, absolute slaughter fest. Will Levis, after his first good game against the Falcons, we got kind of hyped, and he's 13 for 17, 2 touchdowns, 158 yards. Cool, good. That's not bad. I'm not going to claim it's bad, but maybe I need to die down the hype for Will Levis a little bit. He looks good out there still, but they're not really trusting him yet. So maybe they kind of just said, hey, maybe we're just going to invest this season into just doing what we can and moving forward, and we'll develop you, Will Levis. Just play safe. We'll just want to develop and see what you got. But I'm not too sure what the Titans are really doing here. Derrick Henry really did nothing. DeAndre Hopkins got the touchdown this game for Will Levis. Actually, didn't he throw two touchdowns? Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons. Wow. Jeffrey Simmons got a touchdown. Nice. Did not know that one. Defensively, otherwise, Tennessee just had a poor performance against the Jags. Jags actually ate them alive. Trevor Lawrence actually looked really, really good out there that game. Travis Etienne, fine enough. I mean, I can't really complain about, 30.7 yards on average. Receiving wise, Calvin Ridley, he's back? Question mark? Who knows? He probably will get no targets next game, knowing this Jaguars team. Either way, defensively, the Jaguars team honestly looked really good. They probably don't have splashy numbers or anything, because the O-line for the Tennessee Titans actually didn't look horrible this game. I will give them that. It's the one plus side from the Titans. They didn't actually pressure Will Levis a whole lot. Granted, I guess the run game wasn't too good, so take that as you will, tomato type deal. But, I mean, the Jaguars' defense did really, really well. So, give them some credit there. Jaguars easily kind of showing the ups and downs of being a good team. Sometimes you lose really badly to one good team. and he just come back and dominate another. Especially divisional matchup, hard one to win, so good for them. Meanwhile, the choke of the century, Chargers, I got no hope for them anymore. I don't know. They can win games, but I don't know what games they can win anymore. They can win randomly good games. They can lose randomly bad games. No idea. They have the same record as the Packers now, and the Packers are technically a better standing than the Chargers. That's unbelievable. The fact that the Chargers are not second in the AFC West, and I'm saying this as a Broncos fan, absolutely insane. Brandon Staley, what the hell are you doing? They have such a good roster, and it's not because of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert did great. 260 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, come on. You can't ask for much more from your QB. I mean, Austin Eckler did not look great, but he looked fine enough, I guess. That's the only part I got. Justin Herbert even rushed for 73 yards. Holy smokies, I didn't even realize that. I did not realize he was a scrambling kind of guy. Keenan Allen got most of the reps, no surprise there otherwise. Quentin Johnson, I wish he got more reps. That's the only critique I have. But Austin Eckler was not in the pass game too much this game, so that was kind of curious. Beside the point, defensively, I mean, I wish I could say better about the Chargers. I mean, honest to God, I don't know if it was the team playing bad or the bad play calling for the defense, because Brandon Staley, I swear, cannot call defensive plays. Offensively, I guess they're fine, but I don't know if they're just being carried by Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. I'll be fully honest with you. I have no idea where the cracks in this armor and what Brandon Staley's doing to mess this team up, because they have a Super Bowl contending team right here, and they're screwing it up. Beside the point, I got to give some flowers to the Packers. The Packers have been, I think people have been sleeping on the Packers a little bit. This kind of goes in the power rankings I'll get to a little bit later, but I do think the Packers are a sneaky better team than they give credit for. Their defense is one of the better ones, and like Jordan Love hasn't been awful. He hasn't been great. He hasn't shown anything like Aaron Rodgers. And this game actually showed like, oh my gosh, one of his best game performances outside maybe the week 1. So I got to give him some credit there. The run game was not there at all. Without Aaron Jones healthy, they just got nothing on the run game. Besides that, receiving game actually was like a lot of love to everybody. Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Donatavian Wicks. Sure. Like, so much love going to everybody. Christian Watson got the touchdown. Luke Musgrave's getting involved. Like Packers have this team, and they look fine. They don't look like absolutely dreaded on any given week, but they just don't look great either. So I don't know really how to take it. Beside the point, and again, the Packers defense, I know they have the numbers because their defensive line's probably fine, but not great. But their secondary is not bad at all. And I actually low-key kind of like the Packers. I kind of am a hater a little bit on the Packers, but like, I like the team and what I'm seeing from them, and I hope they do well. But I still think they're a sneaky good team. Beside the point, it was a fine game. I can't really complain about it too much. Another fine game is I'm actually really happy to see the Cardinals actually doing well. Kyler is coming back, and I actually think he might be the answer. I was actually kind of a Kyler disbeliever. I didn't believe Kyler was the thing at all, but I'm actually starting to like him more and more. I want him to succeed, and he looks like, even on the Cardinals' piss-poor team right now, looks to be succeeding. Between him on the ground looking good again, him passing looks comfortable. James Conner helps complement him a little bit. His receiving attack players are not good. Trey McBride's probably the best player they got. Maybe Rondale Moore, depending on how you view it. But I guess Marquise Brown, I forgot he's still there. I don't know for how much longer, but hopefully a little bit longer with Kyler there. But I like the Cardinals. I like seeing the Cardinals do well, and against a good, an up and coming good team with the Texans. Again, I've been sleeping on the Texans a little bit, and I'm hopefully going to correct that because they have been looking good. And this game wasn't one of the better games for them, but they've been looking good, and they won this game, even against the Arizona Cardinals, who have been looking better and better. And I really do like this Cardinals team. Honest to God, they need to tackle more of this defense. Now, granted, looking at the stats here, I guess they didn't play that badly. I know C.J. Stroud did not have the best game interception-wise, 3 interceptions from what I remember. But 4 sacks, that's actually pretty nice, and holding them 21 points for a pretty stellar offense. They obviously did something right this game, so maybe they just have to fill in a couple spots here on the Cardinals defense. But I really hope the Cardinals actually go more defensive focus here, maybe find a weapon for Kyler too, because they actually have some draft capital too. So I believe they have some draft capital. I can't remember on the top of my head actually. Beside the point, I want the Cardinals to do well, and Kyler looks good. This is a big notable thing there. C.J. Stroud, put up 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. Every now and then you're bound to have a pretty bad game. 3 interceptions, not amazing. So you gotta give him a little bit of room to wiggle a little bit. So this obviously is a blemish, but for how good of a season he's had so far, I can't really critique it too much. Because honestly, I don't think he's thrown that many interceptions before this game. So take it as you will. Devin Singletary apparently is just good now. I don't know. Was he good before? I have no clue at all. Devin Singletary though had a pretty stellar game. Receiving wise, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I don't on Texans. I would say they need a weapon, but those two together, I don't know if it's just C.J. Stroud making him look good or those two just being good. Robert Woods even a suitable person, and Dalton Schultz, really low key team here in the offensive front. And I love the defense. I know I'm not a big defensive player. I'm starting to fall in love a little bit with this defense from the team. And like Will Anderson Jr., I'm falling in love with him a little bit. So I like seeing this team get more and more developed. Maybe a couple more spots on the defense, and this Texans team's going to be scary here soon. 6-4 too this season. I'm glad that the Texans are doing really well. Beside the point, nice little game, nice little low-key game from maybe some low expectation games. The Cowboys, Panthers, I got no really big critiques. I mean, Dak did Dak things, granted to much less extent because he really didn't have to do anything. Tony Pollard helped a lot in the run game today, so 61 yards, 1 touchdown, pretty nice. Brandon Cooks, I guess is actually getting good, so that's pretty nice. CeeDee Lamb had a fine game, like he got the touchdown, so that's nice. Defensively, there's no complaints. The Cowboys are the best defense in the league. The Browns are good. The Ravens are good, 49ers are good, but the Cowboys have a stellar defense. Sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't, though, so critiques there. Bryce Young, in all things considering, didn't have the worst game he could ever have against a really, really good defense. He's been having some really rough games against some, really good teams. So, unfortunately, they couldn't really utilize the run game much more. Granted, they did still try to. 21 carries, 23 carries count Bryce Young's rushes, but outside of that, I mean, Adam Thielen was still heavily involved. The only target you really has. So the Panthers really need to pick up some kind of weapon for Bryce Young. They really want to see him develop. And then you got the defense for the Panthers, which is non-existent, so they need to fill up a lot of holes. So unfortunately, even though Bryce Young is really, possibly a really good player, we can't really see that with a bad defense that lets up so many points, and which he has to make up with Adam Thielen. So take that as you will. Beside the point, Giants Commanders, I called it, I said it, the Commanders. This is a prime game for the Commanders to lose. And I still didn't bet on them or bet on the Giants because I was just so unconfident about the Giants at this point because I have no idea what this team is. I have no clue what this team is doing anymore. But it's the Commanders. It's the Commanders that just tend to lose these fucking games. These randomly bad teams that they play, they drop these fucking games. They made the Giants they made Tommy DeVito look like freaking Patrick Mahomes in this game. Beside the point, let's look into it. Tommy DeVito, sure, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns. Apparently anybody can do that against the Commanders. Whatever. Saquon, good game. Darius Slayton apparently is God. Saquon Barkley had a game of his life. Defensively, the Giants were actually really good. They looked good for once. The fucking 3 interceptions too. No clue where that came from. I didn't know the secondary of the Giants was any good anyway. Beside the point, I'm getting on my tangent now, just because I did think the Giants were good 3 weeks ago, but then I started having a breakdown for them. Anyway, Sam Howell, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, whatever. Brian Robinson Jr., actually really like him. To be honest with you, hasn't been that bad of a player. In the receiving game, he's like the number 1 receiver and the number 1 running back. So, good on him for having a lot of different versatility there. Scary Terry, I haven't seen much from him. I haven't really had to note his name very often here. But Logan Thomas and Jahan Dotson, good for them. They're doing pretty good things there. Otherwise, defensively for the Commanders, they got 9 sacks. How the hell? I saw the stat randomly on Instagram or something. The Commanders got 9 sacks on the offensive line of the Giants, which I always knew was piss poor. I thought the other parts of it was better, and Saquon makes it looks good anyway. Beside the point, they got 9 sacks and still lost by 2 scores. How do you do that? Beside the point, whatever. Commanders, I don't know. You're 4-7, doesn't surprise me. Giants are 3-8. This game showed that you should be 8-3. I don't know. Just beside the point, whatever. Piss poor game. Watched some of it and it made me mad. Then, of course, another resurgence for the 49ers. No surprise here. Do want to give a little bit of flowers to the Bucs. The Bucs actually played really well, and they actually made it a little bit more entertaining. Of course, they had no run game pretty much this whole time, but Cade Otto getting more involved. Mike Evans continues to be the number 1 target, of course. Defensively, actually, the Bucs held their own pretty well. I actually thought for a minute they actually might have a shot in the first half, and then all of a sudden the 49ers came back in the second half and just killed them all. Beside the point, Brock Purdy just casually puts up 333 yards for 3 touchdowns, 21 for 25. So, I'm not a disbeliever in Brock Purdy, but I was kind of worried through the 3-game stretch of losses that they were maybe not as good as they seem, but no, they're pretty decent. Christian McCaffrey, of course, is one of the best weapons in the NFL. George Kittle, amazing, love him. Brandon Ayuk, freaking underrated receiver, probably not underrated anymore, but I underrated him before. Freaking awesome. He looked amazing out there. Defense for the 49ers did what they needed to do and just held the Bucs down. So Yeah, especially in the second half. They dominated that second half of the defense. So, beside the point. 49ers win. Whatever. They're looking like one of the top teams again. Jets, Bills. Dude, fucking slaughterhouse. Dude, like, I thought I had some hope for the Jets here. I was like, okay, maybe the Jets will actually do something. No, fuck no. The Bills defense did not allow anything. Can't even really say the Bills offense did much. I'm sure they did stuff with the stat wise, but like defense, the Bills carried them this game. Not because of the offense was bad, but just again because the defense was so fucking good. Zach Wilson got benched for Tim Boyle. I think I just saw that Tim Boyle's the official starter for us this season. I can tell you right now, the Jets stock has just dropped, dude. Aaron Rodgers is not going to get a shot in the playoffs because this team is just fucking disastrous without him right now. Breece, like, they didn't get a run game going at all. Breece Hall did get involved in the receiving game quite a bit, which no surprise there. He's very good at that. Other than that, nobody else got love. Defense for the Jets looked piss poor this game. I think I got one interception, from down here from Ashton Davis. Good for you, Ashton Davis. Fucking otherwise, very sucky. They did fine in the first half because they got, 6 points. And then they proceeded never to score again. So good for them. Josh Allen, again, look at the stats. 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. Pretty good. James Cook lit it up pretty nicely. Latavius Murray actually got some love here, too. So good to see him getting some carries. Other than that, Khalil Shakir, fucking 115 yards, 3 receiving, 3 receptions, and a touchdown. Sure. Good. Good to see, I guess. Dalton Kincaid, love to see him getting the targets, though, too. Stephon Diggs had a really quiet game here, though, too. They didn't even need Stephon Diggs. They literally need 3 receptions to Khalil Shakir, and they would have beat the fucking Jets. That's all they needed. Beside the point. Defensively, the Bills, again, look at that. 3.5, 4.5, 5, 6 sacks. I see 6 sacks and about 2 interceptions. Fucking amazing. Rasul Douglas, good for you. 2 interceptions. Are you a linebacker? I thought you were a linebacker. Maybe not. Okay, beside the point. Just actual slaughter fest. The Bills, I don't think they're the best team in the NFL, but damn, the Jets made them look like it. Seahawks, Rams. So I've seen this as a common theme because I actually watched a couple recap videos myself. Wyatt's World's a good one for that, by the way. Notable one too. And when I watched his video, it made me realize, because I watched like one other one, I think on TikTok, when he just quickly going through like notable things in the games, and it seems like no one really watched this game. No one really knows what happened. At 1 minute, everybody thought the Seahawks were going to win, and all of a sudden the Rams came back and randomly Seahawks missed a field goal. That seems like the story of what's happened to the Seahawks there. The Seahawks had a decent game, proceeded to collapse after Geno got hurt or whatever, and then proceeded to not miss a 55-yard field goal or whatever. So, dang, sorry Seahawks, that's kind of sucks. What are you now, 6-4 versus the Rams 4-6? It's curious because I don't know anything from the Rams at all. 0 stats. Don't know how Matthew Stafford did. Don't know how the run game did. Nothing. Geno Smith looked like he did fine, but of course I know he got hurt and they had to put Drew Lock in, which again, 1 interception, 3 yards. Not a very great stat line, but I don't want to judge him too much because it's hard going into a game, halfway through or near the end. So beside the point. I know Kenneth Walker also got hurt, so for Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker, please, prayers there. Hopefully they get back and healthy soon. Zach Charbonnet, I like seeing him get some reps, though, so I wish he did a little bit better, but beside the point. Receiving, DK was the main target there. Tyler Lockett got some love. Jackson Smith and Jigba also did pretty good, so good to see all of them kind of getting some love. Zach Charbonnet, of course, in the receiving game as well. Defensively, from the Seahawks, doesn't look like they did too much, and from what it seemed like, it was kind of a quiet game in terms of defensive splashes. From the looks of it, though, for the Rams, like, this is the stat line I know nothing about. Matthew Stafford did, I guess. Royce Freeman, I guess, good. I'm going to say good more than Puka Nacua. Oh, Cooper Kupp also got hurt, didn't he? Yeah, Cooper Kupp, I believe, got hurt. So pressure up of him. Dang, everybody's getting freaking hurt. Either way, Puka Nacua was able to step up and do well, it looks like. Otherwise, not too much on the receiving front. Aaron Donald hurt Geno Smith, right? So, was that on the sack? No, he didn't get a sack, though. Interesting. Okay. I don't know what that was all about then. Cool. Well, either way, it seemed like a quiet game. Doesn't look like I missed much aside from all the drama in between. So, I'm okay not really noting that one. Freaking game of the week, though. Broncos stopping Josh Dobbs. No, but in all seriousness, I actually really enjoyed this game. It's actually, being a Broncos fan helps, of course, but watching this game from both perspectives, because I like Josh Dobbs. I like the Vikings, too. Seeing both teams do well, because Josh Dobbs had a decent game. Alexander Madison was able to go out there after his concussion, do well. Ty Chandler utilized everything he could during his time in there. T.J. Hawkinson looked fine. Jordan Addison looked good. Everybody from the Vikings looked good. Defensively, I will say the Vikings probably took a step back in terms of this game. They kind of just fluctuate. I don't know why. The Broncos, though, good to see them doing so well. Russell Wilson really is looking good. I know he's not like getting splashy plays or anything, but he's looking good, especially when he's passing to Cortland Sutton. Nice little touchdown pass there, and as well as Cortland Sutton made a very awesome pass. Even with the pass interference call, he got it. The run game for the Broncos always tends to be, it's not getting there. They just need to get a run game established. Beside the point, it didn't look very good. But Samaje Perine also low-key hero here. He got a lot of short passes and made the most of them, so good for him that he's coming really relevant. Jerry Jeudy also quiet hero. I think he's getting more love than people, or needs more love than people are giving him credit for. Beside the point, defense for the Broncos, again, nothing splashy. They made some really crucial plays when they needed to, and it was nice to see, but otherwise wasn't the most spectacular thing. 21-20 was actually a decent game, though. It was fun to watch. Another really decent game. It was kind of, I don't want to say lackluster, but it wasn't to meet the expectations because Jalen Hurts didn't have a very good game. Patrick Mahomes had a fine game. Run game was mostly how the Eagles ended up winning this. Jalen Hurts kind of came in more clutch near the end, but beside the point. I mean, when you have 2 rushing touchdowns because of the tush push, it helps a lot. Beside the point. Receiving, Devonta Smith was the main target here. A.J. Brown actually was held to nothing. DeAndre Swift got a little bit of love. Defensively, though, Eagles and Chiefs are both kind of quiet in terms of stat lines, from what I remember. Let's look at the Chiefs' defensive stat line. Actually, they got 5 sacks. So that's actually kind of nice. Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie, and George Karlaftis. So Chiefs had a little bit less of a quiet game, but either way, it seemed like they held them enough, both of them, to not have to score every time. Travis Kelce, of course, found the end zone. Justin Watson found the end zone. Otherwise, kind of just a little bit of love to everybody. Rashee Rice getting a little bit of love, but Justin Watson kind of taking some of that away from him. And it looks like I'm working backwards. Isaiah Pacheco, run game was fine. Patrick Mahomes, again, I mean, I guess 2 touchdowns kind of makes you a little inflated there because that 24-43 isn't very good. 177 yards and an interception isn't very good either. So both QBs, of course, was rough. A rough game for both of them. But beside the point, it was fun enough because it kept you on the edge of seats because they kept it close both ways. So really awesome to see. Good primetime games here this week, I'll say. And even though they weren't, this game didn't meet the expectations of the week. Honestly, was the Broncos Vikings the game of the game of the primetime week? What was the other one? Titans Steelers? No, that's the week before. My bad. Panthers Bears. Wow, no, that was the week before too. Bengals Ravens. Yeah, honestly, Broncos Vikings might have been the primetime game of the week. I don't know if it's game of the week. I'd probably give that to the low-key Texans Cardinals. We could have been up there. Texans Cardinals probably. Yeah, I'd probably say Texans Cardinals. Either way, beside the point, really fun week overall with the NFL. Liked what I saw. Hope to see more of it. That was kind of the quick recap of things going on. I'm about to go right into making my power rankings here soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Celebrate whatever you need to. And eat lots of good food and see lots of good family. All I got to say. Thank you guys for watching. StraightA Dawson, out.